Imagine freezing temperatures, deep within the remote, unforgiving Ural Mountains of post-war Soviet Russia. In 1959, a group of 9 highly experienced skiers embarked on a challenging expedition. They were seasoned adventurers, led by Igor Dyatlov, expecting an arduous but ultimately successful journey. What they found instead, deep within the desolate slopes of Kholat Syakhl, would become one of history's most perplexing and disturbing unsolved mysteries, a tragedy shrouded in speculation and chilling anomalies. Their objective was Mount Otorten, a peak known for its challenging conditions. Igor Dyatlov, a 23-year-old engineering student, was meticulous in his planning. The group comprised 8 men and 2 women, all students or graduates from the Ural Polytechnic Institute, expert skiers and navigators. Their journey began smoothly, with log entries detailing their progress and camaraderie. They left a final postcard detailing plans to send a telegram upon return, but that message never arrived. One member, Yuri Yudin, fell ill with sciatica and was forced to turn back early in the expedition, a decision that inadvertently saved his life. This departure reduced the group to 9. Yudin's last contact with his friends was filled with assurances of their proficiency and high spirits. He anticipated their return, unaware that he was witnessing his comrades for the very last time. This simple act of fate left him as the sole survivor, eternally haunted by what he escaped. When the expected telegram failed to arrive by February 20th, relatives grew concerned. A search party was assembled, initially comprising university volunteers, then escalating to include the Soviet army and police. The weather conditions were brutal, hindering search efforts for days. The remote location and harsh winter environment made any rescue operation incredibly difficult, adding to the growing sense of dread as time slipped away with no sign of the missing hikers. On February 26, more than a week after they were expected back, searchers discovered the group's abandoned tent on the eastern slopes of Kholat Syakhl, Dead Mountain, in the Mansi language. The scene was horrifying. The tent was partially torn from the inside, as if cut open in a desperate attempt to escape. Inside, personal belongings, food, and warm clothing were left behind, suggesting a sudden, catastrophic event. This was no ordinary accident. Footprints led away from the tent, bare and sock-clad, indicating the hikers had fled into the brutal cold without proper attire. They walked downhill towards dense forest. The footprints belonged to 6 to 8 individuals, not 9, adding another layer of confusion. The temperature was an estimated -25 to -30 degrees Celsius, a death sentence for anyone exposed without adequate protection. This frantic flight from apparent danger was utterly baffling. 2 bodies were found first, about 1.5 kilometers from the tent, at the edge of the forest. Yuri Krivonischenko and Yuri Doroshenko lay near the remnants of a small fire, clad only in their underwear, their hands scraped and bruised. The fire provided little warmth. Their deaths were determined to be from hypothermia, but the scene raised more questions than answers. Why had they left their warm tent for certain death? 3 more bodies were discovered near them, including Igor Dyatlov himself, Rustam Slobodin, and Zinaida Kolmogorova, spread out along the path leading back towards the tent. They also succumbed to hypothermia, but Slobodin had a fractured skull. This head trauma, while not fatal, was significant. Had they been returning to retrieve supplies? Or were they trying to escape something even more terrifying that stalked them on the desolate mountain? The remaining 4 bodies were not found until May, nearly 2 months later, buried under 4 meters of snow in a ravine deeper in the forest. These victims, Semyon Zolotaryov, Ludmila Dubinina, Alexander Kolevatov, and Nikolai Thibault-Brignoles, presented the most horrific and inexplicable injuries. Their discovery only deepened the enigma of Dyatlov Pass, turning a tragic accident into a full-blown mystery. Ludmila Dubinina's injuries were particularly gruesome. Her tongue, eyes, and part of her brain were missing. Semyon Zolotaryov had similar severe injuries, including missing eyeballs, and a massive chest trauma. Nikolai Thibault-Brignoles suffered extensive skull fractures. These wounds were not typical of hypothermia or normal falls, baffling forensic examiners and fueling early theories of violent assault or an unknown force. Furthermore, a strange orange discoloration was noted on some of the body's skin, along with strands of gray hair. Their clothing also showed elevated levels of radiation. Soviet investigators concluded the cause of death for the 9 hikers was a compelling natural force, vis major. The case was closed, the files sealed, and access to the area restricted for years, only adding to the suspicion surrounding the official narrative. The compelling natural force explanation was insufficient for many. Numerous theories emerged. One popular theory suggested an encounter with either dangerous animals, such as bears, or the indigenous Mansi people. However, there was no evidence of animal attacks, and Mansi people were known to be peaceful, respecting hikers. The nature of the injuries also did not align with these hypotheses. Another long-standing theory involved military testing. The area was close to known Soviet military testing grounds. Some proposed that the hikers stumbled upon a secret weapons test, perhaps a parachute mine or a low-yield nuclear device. The strange light phenomena reported by other local groups, the unusual injuries, and the radiation levels could all be explained by this. The Soviet government's secrecy only fueled these suspicions. Reports of strange orange spheres of light in the sky by other hiking groups in the region around the same time added a UFO or extraterrestrial element to the mix. While sensational, it served to highlight the bewildering lack of a mundane explanation. Could something truly otherworldly have caused such terror and devastation? This theory, while speculative, resonated with a public starved for answers to such an inexplicable event. In 2019, Russian authorities reopened the investigation into the Dyatlov Pass incident, citing renewed public interest. This time, however, they largely dismissed the exotic theories, focusing instead on avalanches. They theorized a rare slab avalanche trapped the hikers, forcing them to cut their way out of the tent in a panic. This sudden, violent event would explain the initial flight, the lack of warm clothing, and the damage to the tent from the inside. Further scientific research, notably by Johann Gaum and Alexander Puzrin in 2021, provided compelling support for the avalanche theory. Using computer simulations, they demonstrated how a delayed, localized slab avalanche, triggered by the cutting of the snow slope for the tent, could have generated enough force to cause the injuries, including internal traumas without external marks on some victims. The tent's placement on a minor slope was key. Under this modern avalanche hypothesis, the hikers would have escaped their tent, disoriented and injured, into the freezing night. The missing tongue and eyes could be attributed to scavenging animals after death, or decomposition in the ravine. The fractured skulls and chest traumas would be consistent with being crushed by heavy snow. The orange skin discoloration and radiation could be natural post-mortem effects or contamination from a nearby mine. The search team had initially overlooked small-scale avalanche signs. The specific type of snow, recent snowfall, and the terrain's subtle incline were factors. The official 1959 investigation was not equipped to understand complex snow dynamics. This oversight contributed to the enduring mystery, allowing more fantastical explanations to flourish for decades in the absence of a complete scientific understanding of the events. Despite the scientific backing, the avalanche theory still struggles to fully explain certain aspects. Why did they not attempt to retrieve their warm clothing or rescue supplies? Why did they apparently walk downhill, away from the tent, rather than attempting to re-enter it or dig a snow cave? These questions remain, fueling the skepticism that prevents the case from being definitively closed in the public's mind. The psychological impact of being buried alive or struck by an avalanche in darkness, combined with severe injuries, could lead to irrational behavior and disorientation. Hypothermia itself causes confusion and irrational decision-making. Perhaps they were too injured or too panicked to reason effectively, choosing flight over logical survival strategies. The initial terror likely overrode all survival instincts. The enduring appeal of the Dyatlov Pass incident lies in its blend of harsh wilderness, inexplicable events, and governmental secrecy. It has become a modern myth, a cautionary tale whispered in the shadow of the Urals. Even with advanced scientific explanations, the narrative of human frailty against an unknown, terrifying force continues to captivate and haunt. We are drawn to what we cannot fully comprehend. For over 6 decades, the Dyatlov Pass has defied simple answers. It challenges our understanding of survival, forensic science, and the power of nature. Each new theory, whether supernatural, conspiratorial, or scientific, attempts to piece together a puzzle where crucial fragments are forever lost to time and the unforgiving elements of the mountain. The incident remains a testament to nature's ultimate power. The memory of the 9 hikers is honored annually, with expeditions still tracing their ill-fated route. Each winter, new adventurers brave the slopes of Kholat Syakhl, perhaps seeking to understand or simply to pay their respects. The mountain, however, holds its secrets close, reminding us that some mysteries may never yield their full truth, forever shrouded in the cold, silent depths of the Russian wilderness. While the official conclusions leaning towards an avalanche provide a plausible, albeit incomplete, explanation, the allure of the unknown remains. The Dyatlov Pass incident continues to be a source of fascination for historians, scientists, and armchair detectives alike. It stands as a chilling reminder of how quickly even the most experienced can be overcome by the unexpected forces of nature, leaving behind a legacy of questions and fear. So, what do you believe happened on Dyatlov Pass? Was it a natural disaster, an experimental weapon, or something far more sinister and beyond our comprehension? The answers may forever lie buried beneath the snows of Kholat Syakhl, a testament to the fact that even in modern times, some dark corners of our world refuse to give up their secrets, leaving us to wonder about the dark knowledge hidden within.